Hey guys, so I'm feeling a bit tired at the moment. I am feeling a bit tired and overwhelmed with everything that's got to get done at the restaurant. Welcome if you're new here. I'm trying to rescue a restaurant in Kachiru in Kigali in Rwanda. It was my local for many years and I'm trying to keep it open and give it a facelift. The renovations have been a lot, and they're going a lot slower than I was kind of hoping for, but I think that's like the story of building work all over the world. But now I'm moving into the second panic phase, which is if you're opening a restaurant, what are you going to feed people? So I've come up with a menu that I like, and there are a few things on it that I know I like to eat, but I'm not positive I know how to cook. You know, like they're not difficult recipes, but they're things like, you know, I was kind of thinking about doing an English breakfast, the full English, which I'm very, very familiar with, but usually I don't make hash browns. And I thought, oh, you know what, hash browns are quite good because then we can offer the vegan, the vegetarian, and the full English breakfast, which is the carnivorous version, you know, because everybody likes hash browns and they are vegan, you know, or they can be made vegan. I realised that you can make them just with potato, or you can make them with potato and cheese, and I would love to do the potato and cheese ones, but that would entail having 2 boxes in the fridge, one for vegan only, which is the potato, and one for the vegetarian and standard breakfast. And I just don't know for certain that somebody wouldn't just go for the hash browns with the cheese in and put it on the vegan plate. So until I know for certain that that isn't going to happen, and I've hired my staff and I've trained my staff and I know my staff and I trust my staff, I'm just going to keep it to potato because that's easy for everybody. But I have eaten many hash browns in my life, but I have never made a hash brown, so I was going to do that. And the other massive issue that we've got that I have discovered recently in the past few days is, being British, there will be a few British things on the menu, and you know, in the UK we're very dairy heavy, we love our cheeses, we love cream, we love, you know, we're very dairy heavy. And here in Rwanda we have a lot of cows, we produce a lot of milk and a lot of Gouda cheese. I say Gouda because I'm British, but Gouda I believe, or Howder is the correct pronunciation, but I'm an uncouth and uneducated Brit, and I will say Gouda until the day I die. So anyway, but you know, there aren't very many variations on that. There's one cheese place called La Fromagerie, which is trying its best to kind of introduce different cheeses, but you know, milk, Gouda, that's the staple here. And what I really need is double cream. And you know, I was thinking I would even clot my own cream. I was thinking about maybe doing an English afternoon tea at some point, maybe not right off the bat, but when I've built myself up to it. And for that you need clotted cream, and you know, if you can get double cream you can make clotted cream, but at the moment I can't find double cream. It is available for sale in the shops, but what you get delivered is not what you would expect to be serving to people. So I'm going to include my adventure with cream here. And I'm sorry, it was just Masaka. I have nothing against Masaka at all. It's just that that's the product that was on the shelves. And somewhere between the dairy and the supermarket, I think there's a cold chain issue. One thing I wanted to try out is this Masaka fresh cream. So Masaka is sort of a town just outside Kigali, and they make fresh cream, which is really hard to find because we need double cream for desserts and whipped cream for desserts and drinks. So I'm already experiencing a bit of a problem. I can't get into it. So I'm foiled at the very first hurdle. I can't get into it. What the hell? What? How? Oh, there we go. Got it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I thought it looked really funny. It's just because it's got a plastic bit on it. Oh, let me take that off first. Oh my goodness, breaking into this is an ordeal. Oh, doesn't smell like I would expect fresh cream to smell like. It smells sour. So apparently it's fine until April the 26th. I mean, it's got like a whole month to go. But that smells, I don't know, let's taste it. Oh, it's very thick. Let me give it a go. Oh, hell no. Absolutely hell no. Oh God, no. That is not, oh no. No, we can't use that. Yeah, I was about to use this to make an Irish coffee, because in order to make an Irish coffee, you have to get the cream to sit perfectly on top of the coffee. So it looks like really, really separate, sort of black, white, really beautiful drink, very stark colour contrast. No, you can't, no. It's not quite as sour as a firgute, but that is not something you could put on a dessert. Maybe if we whip it up with some sugar, I could try that, but all I need is some decent double cream, and this is not it. So just for shits and giggles, we're going to try whipping it. Okay, so it did whip up. It has made quite a thick cream. And I've whipped it up with some sugar, so let's see if it tastes any better. Nah, it smells off. It's off. Nah. What I suspect has happened is that it hasn't been cold chained properly. So somewhere between the factory and the shop, it has been left in the heat for too long. Or the fridge defrosted. We have had a lot of power cuts lately, and we've ended up with something that you shouldn't really consume. Hi guys, so it turned out that actually there was a cold chain supply problem, and when I contacted the shop about the cream, they went and looked at all of their cream and it had all gone a bit wrong. So it's been about a week or so now, and I've just replaced it with some fresh. I'm finding it really hard to get into this. It's just, you can't break the seal. This is absolutely impossible to get into. There we go. I cut it open with a knife. So let's try again. It's got a little plastic thing. I still can't get into it. Jesus. It's like breaking into Fort Knox just to try this stuff. Done it. Oh God. Doesn't smell promising. Does not smell promising at all. Doesn't smell sour now it's out. Doesn't smell of anything. Doesn't smell of fresh cream. Doesn't smell of anything. Let's try it. No. Oh, that's awful. That's awful. No. That's not good at all. It's sour. It's sour. Because this apparently is fresh in today. Oh God, no. No, you can't serve that in a restaurant. You know, cream is sweet. Cream is sweet and it's milky and that is just sour. So, Masaka have actually offered to send me some of their sample products. Let's get it direct from the supplier and try it. I'm not holding out much hope though. I mean, that's the second bottle of the stuff that's supposedly in date, and you couldn't serve that. So I'm going to be playing around a lot here with milk, because we can get whole milk. It is UHT. All of the milk is UHT because a lot of people don't have fridges. So if you haven't got a fridge, you can't have just normal milk. You need UHT, which is long life milk. But I need to see if I can cheat hack it into becoming cream, and if I can make it into cream, can I make it into mozzarella, and can I make it into cream cheese, and can I make it into clotted cream? Don't think I'm going to get to clotted cream. I think that's asking way too much. So I'm just going to play around with a few things that I haven't made before and see how I feel about it. I think I just need to do this for me as a confidence boost, because at the moment I ain't feeling very confident. So let's get cracking. Tonight I'm making chili con carne, because chili con carne can be served on its own, or it can be served in a stuffed pepper, or you know, you can use it with other things. So it's been many years, not since my student days have I made a chili con carne, and I'm going to follow a recipe I found and use local ingredients and see what we get at the end. The only thing is, for chili con carne, you're supposed to use kidney beans, and I can't find any kidney beans, so I'm going to use butter beans instead. When I say I can't find kidney beans, you can buy them dried. Like, sometimes they'll be on the shelves and then they'll disappear completely. And you're left with the dried ones, which take hours to prepare. But for tonight, because I haven't got any kidney beans, I'm just going to go with butter beans. And that's another thing, is my menu needs to be adaptable, because, you know, there are going to be times when you cannot find the ingredients that you need. So you need to stockpile the dry goods and be ready to adapt quickly if, you know, there are things that you can't get. So yeah, I've printed off all of my recipes for lunch and breakfast, and especially I'm having a very decent dessert menu, because I often feel like desserts, there aren't very many options when you go to most restaurants. So I need a decent dessert menu, or pudding as we call it in the UK, because you need pudding after you've had your mains. Yeah, so I'm going to find my chili con carne recipe and I'm going to follow it, and I'm going to see if it works. Okay, so the onions and the garlic is nicely fried up. I've got the rice cooker on. It's got that wonderful angry red colour that I always associate with chili con carne. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Let's plate it up. Okay guys, this is my dinner tonight, chili con carne. Now, I've just messed it up a bit. I've put some rice on here, because you usually have chili con carne with rice. And this is absolutely the wrong rice. It's brown rice, and it goes all squiggly like vermicelli. When you put it in a rice cooker, it's really weird. Yeah, I really haven't done a very good job at presenting this, but it's just for my evening meal, and I'm going to go and eat it. So yeah, I'm a bit nervous because I know I've buggered this one up a little bit. I'm a huge fan of black pepper, but I put way too much in this. I'm used to grinding black pepper on top of things like egg on toast, and I forget how powerful powdered black pepper is. And so I put a bit too much of that in, and then I tried to rescue it using a little bit of sugar and lemon juice. And the thing is, both of those are fine ingredients, but when I cook savoury food, I try really hard not to put sugar in it. I mean, originally sugar was a seasoning. Before it was used for desserts, it was just a normal seasoning like anything else, like, you know, cardamom or cinnamon or... but I try really hard not to put sugar in anything savoury. But I thought I'd throw it in to see if I could offset the amount of black pepper I'd used. I got a bit cocky. Because I was thinking in my head, you can't really fuck up chili con carne. I mean, it's not a very complicated dish. You know, you just throw a few tins of beans and tomatoes and some mince and some onions into a pan and you leave it. You know, there isn't a lot that you can really fuck up. But I fucked it up. So let me try it. I'm going to try just the chili on its own with nothing else. Let's try it. Oh. Smells good. Oh my god, that's good. Definitely too much black pepper, too much cayenne. For me, I quite like spicy food, so it's all right, but chili con carne should be quite mild. And people might not know what it is, and they might not be expecting something with a lot of heat. So what I want to do is to make a very, very mild chili con carne and give people hot sauce if they want to add it. Then again, I mean, it's not bad. I'd say the only thing wrong with it is it's too much black pepper. It's comfort food. It's comfort food. Let's try it with the yogurt and the cheese. It's good. It's good. Oh, yeah, wow. The yogurt completely offsets the amount of black pepper. I mean, it's cold and it's wet, it's rainy season at the moment. This is comfort food. You know, I never cook like this in the evenings. I eat crap. I really do eat crap. But this is good. I've cooked a proper meal for myself and it's good. It's good. So that's given me a little bit of confidence. It's made me feel like maybe we can do this. Morning guys! So it's a bit of a dreary day today, so I've got the lights on. Yesterday was kind of interesting. I didn't think it was possible to over-season meat, but I over-seasoned it. Far too much salt and yeah, far too much black pepper. But, you know, I've learnt, I understand now, I won't do that again. So today I'm going to try and answer some of my pressing dairy questions because like I said, a lot of my menu relies on cream and dairy products and I want to see what is possible with Rwandan UHT whole milk. So this is the standard milk that I buy at home. Like I said, UHT long life milk, that's kind of the standard here because a lot of people don't have fridges. Electricity goes off a lot, so you know you want something that can survive that. So I'm going to see what is possible with this. I don't have high expectations, but I'm going to give it a go. So there is a theory that if you mix butter and milk together, whole milk, you can make cream. I am highly skeptical about this. I really am, but I mean, cream is just the fat of the milk. So if you reintroduce fat to milk, maybe, I don't know. It just, I don't know, I'm skeptical. Yeah, so I even use my stand mixer to give it a real heavy whisk and the butter just isn't incorporating. So I'm just heating it up to see if that makes a difference because some of them say heat it up and some of them don't. We're going to give that a go. But honestly, it's so difficult at the moment because all the help I need is online. But for about 2 weeks now, our internet has been bollocks. I mean, you can't stream anything half the time. So you're just sitting there watching the little loading circle going around, just going, come on, show me the answer, show me the answer. You can see it's just not really incorporated. I wish I could just buy this stuff like in bulk from a dairy, but as we've seen, the cream that I've tried to buy so far has not been something that I could use. Well, it's incorporated, but it's still extremely runny. It's still got the consistency of milk. So I'm going to let that cool down and put that in the fridge and see what happens to it. Not holding out much hope, but then I didn't go into this thinking that I would. So let's try something else. Oh, I'm going to try making hash browns. Okay, second fail of the day. I've just attempted to make mayonnaise. Every time I do this, it comes out far too runny. I think the problem that I have is you're supposed to have a jug or a jar that is exactly the same width as your immersion blender, but my immersion blender just, the head of it is just a little bit too big for the opening of any jar that I've got. So I had to make it in a tub. It's better than the first time I ever tried it, but it's got the consistency of hollandaise sauce rather than mayonnaise. Let's try the taste. I ran out of cooking oil, so I put in avocado oil instead, and people say that avocado oil has got a very neutral flavour. I don't find that. I find that I can taste it in anything I put it in, but on the whole, not too bad, but it needs to be a lot thicker than that. So I think I need to go and find a proper jar to do it in and order some more cooking oil. I was just going to say, actually, there is another big issue when you're making things like mayonnaise in Rwanda because, you know, you're dealing with raw eggs. And when you buy eggs in Rwanda, they never have a date stamp, so it doesn't tell you when they were laid, so you can't figure out when the expiry might be. Every time you open an egg, you're evaluating it by the smell, by the look of it. You know, and you can get a tray of eggs and half of them are okay and half of them aren't, and you've got no idea when they've actually been laid. So for me, it is a big health and safety concern doing anything that involves raw egg. So we might just buy mayonnaise, I think. All right, guys, we're attempting cream cheese with UHT milk. Not feeling hopeful. Curds are very, very small. Very, very small. Okay, hash brown o'clock. 1 potato, it was huge. I think I can get 2 hash browns out of that. And I'm going to make 1 cheesy one and 1 normal. Okay, so we're washing it in ice cold water to get the starch out. Oh, it's very, very cold water. Okay, so the cream's been in the fridge for a while. It's still very yellow on top, which suggests that the butter hasn't really fully incorporated into the milk. I mean, to me, it still just looks very, very watery, like milk. All right, here we go. I tell you, it smells more like cream than that stuff from Massacre. The stuff from Massacre just had a very sour smell. No, I mean, I think if you were absolutely desperate in an emergency situation, you could get away with that. But here, the butter just hasn't merged into the cream, and the butter has got a very oily taste to it. Oh, it has thickened up a bit, but the butter and the milk have completely separated. Yeah, you can just see it's just totally separated, the butter and the milk. But there's loads and loads of people online saying that this works, but it definitely doesn't work for me. So I've made a tiny amount of cheese curds, added a pinch of salt and pepper, and let's see if it creates cream cheese. We might have our first win of the day. It's been very difficult to blend the curds because I only made a tiny amount of it, and the immersion blender got a bit stuck trying to do it. So it's ever so slightly grainy, but it does kind of look like cream cheese. It smells very sour. I wonder if it would be different if you used lemon instead of vinegar. But let's see. Let's taste it. Well, blow me. Blow me. It's grainy, but it kind of is cream cheese. It needs a lot more smoothing. That is passable. It's not like Philadelphia. It needs some other seasoning. Let me see what I've got. Tiny pinch of paprika and garlic powder. It's passable. It's passable. Interesting. If we could make it a lot smoother, I think we could use it, but it definitely doesn't taste like Philadelphia, and most people, if they're ordering like a baked potato with cream cheese and bacon, they're going to expect Philadelphia, and that stuff is insanely expensive. But as a base, it works. It does work. Surprisingly well. And if you don't smooth it, then it's kind of like cottage cheese. Okay, so we've got the potato frying up. I couldn't resist putting a few onions in there. The recipe said clarified butter, so I've used ghee. Okay, so hash browns. I couldn't get them very hash brown shape. I've done one with cheese and just one without. My fryer is quite small, and I was using quite old oil, which you should never do, but it was all that I had. I went to the shop opposite to look for cooking oil, but we don't have any. Let's try the one without first. The one without cheese. Oh, it's really hot still. Oh wow. You hear that crunch? When I was frying up the potato, the first time, I used far too much ghee. It seems to be my thing, is I use too much of everything, so I need to dial that back. But also, the pan that I'm using is a special one that uses less oil. It kind of, I don't know, it keeps it from, I don't know how it works, but it doesn't need a lot of oil, so. A little bit oily, too much ghee, but that tastes like a hash brown. Let me dip it. Okay, dipped it in the mayo, which is more of a dipping sauce now. Oh, okay. Yeah, that works. Conceptually, that works. Let's try the cheesy one. Oh my goodness. Usually when you use old oil, you don't get that kind of crisp, but partway through I lifted it up for a second and put it back down. I did that a couple of times, and that can create a bit more of a sort of a crunch on it. Oh, hell yeah. What a crunch. So, less ghee when I fry it up the first time around, but overall, I'm loving that crunch. I'd say that's a success. I'm going to stop cooking now until this evening, when I'm going to try making the stuffed peppers. I feel like I've learned a lot that I didn't know before. Yeah, so I'm going to go away and think about it. Okay guys, I have got two absolutely stunning bell peppers here. One red, one yellow. And I'm going to fill one with chili con carne, and the other one I'm going to fill with rice and cashew nuts. Okay, so this is another dish I've made in my youth, but I could never get it to go nice and soft. I think I always undercooked the pepper because I was afraid of overcooking the inside. But I was reading somebody else saying that you can blanch the pepper for, like, they say 3 minutes, but that sounds like a lot. But yeah, I'm quite excited. I haven't had a stuffed pepper in years. I'm not a huge fan of bell pepper. I don't know, you know, everybody has their food preferences. I don't mind them, but I don't know, I'm not yeah, it's not something I sort of go out of my way to eat. But let's have a go. Actually, I think 3 minutes is about right for the size of these peppers. They're quite big. They do have a fabulous Mediterranean smell. Okay, so just about to go into the oven. This is the chili con carne. That would be mozzarella, but I haven't got any. And this one will be the vegan one, which has got onion, aubergine, rice, cashew nuts and peanuts in. I'm a little bit worried that that one's going to dry out and that we're going to need a sauce for it. I think the chili con carne one's going to be fairly okay. Chili con carne on the left, vegan on the right, with rice and nuts and veg. I think the vegan one is going to need some kind of sauce, but I'm planning to do some baba ganoush. So baba ganoush. So maybe a little bit of that on top would be the answer. Gosh, look at the steam coming off it. That's a strand of steam. But yeah, if you don't know, baba ganoush is basically hummus but made with baked aubergine and tahini instead of chickpeas, so that could be quite nice. So like I said, bell pepper isn't my favourite thing in the world. I think when I was younger I quite liked it, but I don't know, I think the older I get, something about it doesn't entirely... Oh wow. Look at that. So I put some tomato on because I thought it would help keep the moisture in as it baked. I think maybe, yeah, I think maybe a little dollop of baba ganoush. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That looks a lot better than I thought. I was worried that whilst it was baking, the rice would dry out, but it's actually really good. This is actually brown rice, which is what I usually eat at home. It's really weird because when you put it in the rice cooker, it goes kind of really weird and curly, and I'm not sure why. But oh yeah, see, we've got some peanuts, some cashews, got some onion, we've got some aubergine in there. That is so nice. It's steamed the vegetables. I'm really happy with how these have turned out. Let's try them. Okay, let's try the vegan one first. I'm quite excited to see what this tastes like. I added a little paprika, salt and pepper, but not much else. I'm learning my lesson. I need to like rein it back a bit on the seasonings. know. Pepper's done to perfection. Blanching it is the way to go. Yeah, so I think I always took against stuffed pepper when I was younger because I always just threw everything in there together and it was just never really properly cooked. This is lovely. I think a little dollop of baba ganoush would absolutely make it. A little bit more salt maybe. Now that I've said that I'm not adding more seasoning, a little bit more salt. That is surprisingly more satisfying than I thought it was going to be. So I'm saying that we do this with yellow, orange and red peppers, but not the green ones, because yellow and red tend to be a bit sweeter, I find. I find the green peppers are a little bit more bitter. But the other thing I noticed, these are beautiful big peppers, huge, but it's very hard to get consistency here. You know, like I've shown this when I go shopping, you know, sometimes you'll get vegetables and they'll be like the size of your head, and the next week they're going to be like the size of your fist, and you're like, hold on a minute, how is this the same price? But it's going to be difficult because people complained about that with cassicasa before, is, you know, they had pancakes and sometimes the pancakes would be big and sometimes they'd be really small. So it's trying to figure out how we standardize that, and what we do if we start getting deliveries of veg that isn't the right size. It's like for onion rings. Tomorrow I've got to try and make onion rings. Probably not tomorrow, actually. I've got too much to do tomorrow, but at some point I want to try making the onion rings. And for onion rings you need really, you know, a good sized onion. And here, they come in all sizes, which is fine if you're putting it in a soup. But if you need proper sized onion ring sized onions, they need to be that size every time. And again, I don't think we're going to manage it. I heard this story about Winners crisps. So Winners is like Walker's crisps here. And the story was that it was really hard when they started because people would grow potatoes, but the minute that they were ready to eat, they'd harvest them, so they wouldn't let them grow. And for crisps or chips, if you're American, I think you need quite large potatoes and they just wouldn't let them grow. They'd just harvest them immediately they were ready to sell, which makes sense if you're a rural farmer in the middle of nowhere. It's like, you know, get it to market. And they had to kind of offer incentives for people to grow bigger potatoes, which is completely the opposite issue that we have with, I call it a courgette. I think many people call it a zucchini. But with courgettes, a courgette is a baby marrow, and you pick it when it's small because it tastes good. It's like perfect for stir fries, things like that. It tastes really good. But once it gets to be a marrow, you've got to really prepare it. Like, it gets very, very tough outer skin. The seeds are huge. It has a very different flavour. And here, the idea of a small vegetable and a large vegetable, it hasn't quite caught on. So it sort of becomes this idea that the bigger it is, the better it is. And therefore, whenever you order a courgette or a zucchini, which should be small, you end up getting a whacking great big marrow, which I get it, quantity, but it's quantity over quality. People want the smaller one because they taste better. But that hasn't, you know, kind of caught on yet. So it's kind of interesting, but I'm worrying with the bell peppers. Even with these two, we had the red and the yellow, and they were different sizes. But I think it could be okay. I think it could be okay. We'll see how it goes. So I'm hoping to have mozzarella in here as well. And I was going to try and make that, but I need a microwave and I don't have one. Well, I have one in the kitchen there, but not here. Oh, I'm also going to try this. There's a little bit of scorching on the bottom, so I'm just going to see what that tastes like. If it's a nice barbecue-y kind of scorching, or if it's a burnt kind of. That's good. That's good. Stuffed peppers. Where have you been all my life? My goodness me. Okay. Oh, I'm well impressed with this. With the chili con carne, I'm serving that in bowls with rice on the side, but in the stuffed pepper, I'm mixing the rice and the meat together. Have some yogurt. Oh, hell, this is good. I think I can consider this a win. and something to pursue. Hi guys, I'm back in the kitchen today. I'm attempting some more recipes just to see if I can. And I'm trying to make baba ganoush for the first time, which is like hummus but with aubergine. The key to all of this is to have tahini, which is a paste made with sesame seeds. And tahini is incredibly expensive to buy in the shops, but apparently it's incredibly simple to make. You just need sesame seed and olive oil, I think. So I'm going to make tahini, and then we're going to put it in the baba ganoush, and we're going to see if it all meshes together. Oh no, I think I overcooked the aubergine. I don't know. People say that overcooking is very, very common. You're supposed to wrap it in tinfoil, but I didn't have any, but I don't know, might be okay. Oh hell, I think this is perfect. It's like butter. Look at that, just like butter. So soft. Oh my god, the smell of this right now is absolutely wonderful. It's really weird. I don't know how to describe it. It almost smells like bacon fat. I know that's a really, really weird thing to say, but yeah. Okay guys, homemade tahini. The smell. The smell to me, it's bacon fat. And all it is sesame and olive oil, like toasted sesame and olive oil. And there's something that smells so reminiscent of bacon fat. It's really, really weird. Okay. Okay. It's not as smooth as the one that you get in the shop because I had to do it with an immersion blender. Not the best kind of blender for this. Wow, it's nice. I'm a huge fan of halva, and this feels more like a savoury version of halva, which is a sweet made from sesame seeds. So it's also not as smooth because I haven't put as much oil in, because I don't think you need as much oil because the aubergine has retained a huge amount of moisture. It also says to add garlic, but I don't know, just from my perspective, I feel like I should have roasted the garlic, you know, put it in towards the end of cooking the aubergine. I think roast garlic is always superior to raw garlic in dips and things. So I don't know, let me know what you think. Okay, I have got a massive bowl of something that's either going to taste amazing or terrible. Let's find out. Woody Hegway. Okay. Wow, okay. Very, very garlicky. I definitely feel like the garlic needs to be roasted rather than raw. The tahini is a very strong flavour coming through. I like it. The aubergine I don't think has a massive amount of flavour, but it provides the texture. I definitely need to soften the garlic a little bit. I feel the texture's perfect. Oh, those are good, but it's missing something. I feel like some cayenne pepper, maybe, not cayenne, paprika. Let's give it a little sprinkle of paprika. You know me, I have to be careful. I have got a tendency to put too much of a good thing in. So, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. Let's give that a little bit of a moosh. Yeah, that helps. That's good. Crack of black pepper. Yeah, that's good. That is good. Definitely, I think if the garlic was mellow, because it had been baked, I think that would be really, really good. It's not bad though, texture's right. First time. I've ever made baba ganoush and first time I've ever made tahini, so that's cool. Okay, so the second dish of the evening. Everybody at the moment, everything that I'm looking at the moment online, people are talking about Welsh rarebit, which is kind of interesting because it's sort of like fancy cheese on toast from Wales in the UK. And at the very beginning of setting out to start this restaurant, I did mention that I had to come up with a name for the restaurant that nobody in Rwanda had ever registered. And I actually named it after a Welsh goddess. If you want to know which one, you're going to have to come and get a receipt. But basically, I thought, well, there is a Welsh theme behind the restaurant. And I was also going to do like the Scottish national dish, which is, many people actually think that the national dish of Scotland is haggis. That's actually not true. It is in fact the battered Mars bar or the deep fried Mars bar. So I'm actually going to put that on the dessert menu because why the hell not? But yeah, I kind of thought, well, Welsh rarebit, why not? You know, I mean, it's cheerful. I've made a lot of cheese on toast in my time, but I've never actually made rarebit myself. So let's go for it. Yeah. All right, guys, this is cheese on toast like you've never seen it before. The question is whether we can make Welsh rarebit with Rwandan Gouda instead of cheddar, because cheddar is almost impossible to find. They do sell it in the shop, but it's basically orange Gouda again. So it's Gouda or Gouda. But I think this is going to work. Look at it. We made a roux with butter and flour. Mustard is the key ingredient on this. Let's see what it tastes like. Okay, guys, here's my attempt at Welsh rarebit. Using what I can find. This is just to see what it tastes like. I'm not sure I'm going to manage 2 slices because that's a lot of cheese, but let's give it a go. Okay, the thing about this dish is that you have to serve it immediately, otherwise all of the cheese starts to coagulate. Yachida, cariad. Okay. Okay. I see what's going on here. You can't really do it without a decent cheddar. You need a decent cheddar, and I made this one with milk, but it's traditional to make it with stout, and you wouldn't find that either. Sorry, I'm getting very warm tonight. It's good, but mustard is the overriding flavour. And yeah, the cheese just can't stand up to it. Like, Gouda's got such a mild flavour. It's not really at the party, you know? So yeah, it would need a decent cheddar. Interesting though. Hi guys, I was going to do this morning for breakfast, but the day ran away with me, so it's evening now. I'm going to make a poached egg on toast, because I love me a decent poached egg. But today we're going to be using these. They kind of, I'm sorry, they remind me of chicken fillets. But yeah, basically they're egg poaching cups, and they're supposed to make things a little bit cleaner and a bit easier. So usually when I poach an egg, I bring a pan of water to a boil, I swirl the water, I crack an egg into it, and the egg will poach in the pan. I must admit it can lead to problems, is sometimes the white will separate from the yolk and you just fish out a yolk without any other part of the egg. And it can also stick to the sides of the pan and be a pain to clean it. So this is supposed to be very easy to clean and keep everything uniform. Let's give it a go. Just brushing it down with a little bit of olive oil. You can also use melted butter, which I think would probably be nicer with egg. Yeah, just to help it to stop sticking. Okay, bring the water right down to a simmer. Can't really bring it down very far on that. And then just pop them in the water. Do you have to cover them? I don't know. Oh no! Oh no! My egg's fallen out. Oh, okay. Well, let's just poach that one like I would normally poach it. I see the one that I'm poaching normally is poaching a heck of a lot faster. Oh dear, that was a bit of a fiasco, wasn't it? Oh no! The other one's already finished. The other one's done. I can't turn it down any further. Take it off the heat for a second. But yeah, you can see the traditional one is already done, whereas this one's only just starting to whiten. Maybe the water isn't deep enough. Yeah, so I took the traditional one out and I placed this one back in, but it tipped again and some of the egg fell out. So I have to say they're not very stable. I'm not overly impressed by this so far, the design. Meanwhile, my traditional poached egg is sitting here going cold whilst I'm waiting for this one to finish up. Oh, there we go. That kind of covers it. I think maybe that would make it faster. So I have to keep lifting the lid because it keeps causing the water to bubble over. I've been going for about, I don't know, 4 minutes now, 5 minutes. Still ain't done. Yeah, my traditional one is well and truly cold already. It literally only takes like a minute when you do it traditionally. Oh, there we go. Look at that. I'll give it another couple of seconds, but that's a poached egg. I don't know, is that done? Give it a little wobble. Yeah, that looks done. All right, so the question of the day is, how easy is it to get out of the silicone? It should be quite easy because we put some oil in there. Yep, it's definitely coming away from the side, I think. All right, let's, there we go. Oh, okay. Like I said, some of the white fell out, so, you know, there's not so much of it. But it definitely looks quite nice compared to the traditional one. Let's go see. Need a little bit of ground pepper. Can't have eggs without ground pepper. A little sprinkle of salt. Can't have eggs without salt. All right, let's try my evening breakfast. Try the traditional. Oh, look at that. Look how runny that is. That is me. That is me to perfection. I do love me a good runny egg that you can kind of smear over the toast. Providing that the white is cooked, I like a nice runny yolk. Okay, let's try this one. Huh. Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's a little bit more cooked, but there is still a little bit of runny there. That's not bad. That'd be great on avocado and toast. Don't know. Let me know which one you'd prefer. All right, how do they taste? All right, traditional. Creamy. Nice and creamy poached egg. Cup made. It definitely holds its structure a bit better. It's a little bit more cooked. That one is good too. I like them both. Yeah, no, they're both very good. The cup one is a bit firmer. I've got to say, I appreciate that. It's going down well. All right. I think in the hands of professional chefs, that might be a useful tool. In the hands of a moron like myself, not so much. But yeah.